Do you want an extremely short list of reasons why someone will not be your literary agent? My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. I'm going to warn you right now that this is not going to be a warm and fuzzy video. I am going to say something that is true and you might not be super happy with. So if you are not in a headspace where you can deal with that type of information right now, I totally and completely get it. Just scroll. Don't listen to me right now. This is not always going to be helpful information, but if you are in the place where you are ready to hear a hard truth, I'm going to tell you a hard truth today. This is your last chance to scroll if you're not in the headspace to hear that. It's because you haven't written a book that is marketable enough. That's it. Now you might look at the market and be like, there are all kinds of books that I think are shitty books out there on the market. Why did those people get an agent? Because it was marketable enough to overcome whatever else was going on. There are people out there that are like, well, if you're just really good and professional and people want to work with you, and that is a big part of it often, but there are also people who are terrible people who write books and who publish books and who make a living publishing books because they wrote books that are marketable enough to overcome the personality stuff. There are very few rules in this industry. Romances need a happily ever after, and the book has to convince somebody that it's going to sell. Now, the somebody who gets convinced is not always right. There are books that flop, there are careers that end, right? Like, it's not a guarantee, but somebody along the way looked at it and said, haha, that's the thing that's going to make us a lot of money. And actually, in order to be published, you need several people to tell you, like, aha, I think that's the thing that's going to make us money. I was recently at a writing conference in which I was talking with someone who is the acquiring publisher, like over a specific imprint, and she was devastated about a book that she had to say no to recently. She was really excited about it. Lots of people in the publishing house were really excited about it, and she counted up the number of people who need to say yes, and within the publishing house there were 13 people who needed to say yes. Now, there were other people along the way who could contribute their yes to the conversation, but there were 13 people that all needed to give you a yes in order for that book to be published. You got to convince all of those people that the book is good enough to make them money and that it will overcome whatever deficiencies there are, because we are all still like humans and we're making things that are imperfect, and art is in and of itself imperfect and subjective, and there's never going to be everybody going to agree on it, but you have to get all of those people to say that's the thing that's going to make me money. And at the querying stage, it's just that one literary agent. Now, occasionally you might have like a reader or an intern or an associate agent who is also involved in that mix, but they know the agent's taste extremely well, and so if you can't get that intern to say yes, you're definitely not going to get the agent to say yes. So it's not like overcoming them is this additional hurdle. It's just like another step. So like you need two people to say yes, but really one of them agrees with the other entirely. So while we could try to parse out a bunch of really specific like nitty-gritty details and say like, okay, the line level writing might not be there yet, the plot and structure might not be there yet, or it might be a topic that is just not in style right now, or you might be writing in the voice and with a point of view that is just out of step with what mainstream publishing is looking for. Like, we could look at all of these other reasons, but what it really comes down to is you have not written a book that made a bunch of people say, I think there's money to be made here. That's the only reason that you don't have representation, and I'm sorry.